Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. This is your host, Rick, and we are talking Merry Christmas here. Boy, I tell you what, that's been, I think I've only recorded one out of every 5 days, so I got a pretty good little break here. If you look at this here, I'm trying to get my title slide up here in a second. Let's see if I can get it here. Usually I have a little, there it is. All right. So you see right now that we are talking Merry Christmas. What you want? What you actually want for Christmas? What do you personally want for Christmas? I know everybody wants a rest, but since that's not going to happen until they can't walk the street, the question is, what else do you want? I know what I want. I'll talk about that as we go into the broadcast here, but this is the Blessed to Teach show. I'm actually streaming live, if this is working correctly, on 4 different platforms right now. That would be YouTube, is where my main channel is. And then you've got it simultaneously going to Facebook Live right now on the Blessed to Teach show. And here comes some people coming from Facebook, as well as the R, I think, is real stream. The chat is ready to display messages. Okay, so I've got Facebook Live going, and then Twitch, as well as Periscope. So all 4 of the major platforms we're going live right now. So it's kind of exciting. That's a new setup I have. I also have new lighting. You can probably see. Usually my face is pretty dark, but I got some new lighting on here. And I'll probably have to adjust it a little bit because it's probably going on my back screen a little bit more than I want, but we'll be adjusting it and making some stuff. East Germany here says Vieco stars are from the Facebook, and I see somebody from Facebook saying Merry Christmas. The YouTube lives have not come on yet. It looks like it's a little behind. So I know there'll be a little bit of a delay, but this is pretty cool. Merry Christmas, Rick. Merry Christmas to you, Teresa. And here we go. Let's there we go. Yo, Rick, Charles Thunder coming from the YouTube channel. So anybody on Twitch or on Periscope, text me right now so I can see it. It's all consolidated in one area. So this is exciting for me anyway. Let's get into this. Merry Christmas. What you want to watch? The Blessed to Teach show. You saw where we left off last time. I'm sure you've talked to other YouTubers when you were Q-tubers, if you will. The Q-tubers, right? And you probably have seen all these, but we left off on 2638, which was on December 20th. They talked about the chemical attack in Syria, public pullout of troops in Syria, history will not repeat itself. So Will saying he didn't get a notification on YouTube, but he's here. Thank you for making it, Will. Yeah. So here we go on looking at 2639. This is the most controversial one I've seen yet. And this will be real interesting. I would love to see what Q actually talks about when he comes back, and hopefully he addressed this. But it says fake news media is fake, right, is what Q puts here. And he puts 2 titles here, and one of these titles don't exist. At least nobody's been able to find this exact title. And he's now put out an anti-Q article rebutting this. So it'll be really interesting to see this. Merry Christmas to y'all, too. I see a ton of people coming on now, and it's streaming like mad. It's great. See, all the YouTubers are coming on as well. Richard Preach from Facebook, and we got Sheila Costello from YouTube. So it's moving well now. So Trump surprise, Syria pullout is a giant Christmas gift to our enemies. So this is Max Boot. Of course, they always want you in wars because that's how the deep state makes money. In fact, if you look right here, Max Boot, Council on Foreign Relations. If anybody's heard me talk about the CFR ever before, this is where they control all the media. One of the major, the trilateral commissions. But this Council on Foreign Relations is the biggest one that the deep state uses to control the media completely. And he's right here. Here's his about the expert. He's an expert for Council on Foreign Relations. And so he's the one that Q is posting here. This is the correct title of one we just saw on December 19th. And whoever did this, that Q posted, this fake news.jpg, this does not look like a real title. And if you go back to April 19th, it doesn't look like he was talking about that we don't need troops in Syria. So this is a problem for Q. I'm just being honest with you, right? I don't pull crap with you guys. But it also has everybody talking about it, right? Everybody's talking about what is fake news. What did Max Boot really say? Who is Max Boot? Well, I just showed you. He's Council on Foreign Relations. So hey, let's get into the pre-roll of who's sponsoring this session. Who's sponsoring this session? It's Trade Genius. Now, I've talked to a lot of people about cryptocurrency who some people don't believe in. That's fine. They do stocks. They do, which are EFTs, right? They also help you be a trade genius on also options as well as cryptocurrency. I personally am a believer in cryptocurrency because I think it's one of the way we can get back around the Fed with transparency. It's also a security-first architecture, unlike the current internet, and it completely cuts out the middleman. But the best part about it, in my opinion, is that you can back it up by gold as well, just like you can any fiat currency. So if you just want to learn more about really becoming a trade genius, if you will, on these different topics, EFTs or options, and what they do is they do short-term trading only on the upsides based upon a bunch of proprietary algorithms. And to me, it's a really exciting way because it's low risk, because if it goes down too low, you sell right away and you have to take a small loss. But they're also capturing some big gains within a couple hours. And on Bitcoin, they did 2 huge ones in December, right? Which I can show you some of those charts at a later time when we have more time, as Bob comes on and talks to us about the Federal Reserve. But they have huge savings of discounts for Christmas if you want to learn about these get these alerts of when to buy and what to sell and what to set your stop point, and etc. This is one I like, the starter pack. Over 50% off, and I'm taking the cryptocurrency lessons 1 through 7. Again, I want to trade intelligently and use some of my time that I have to do some of these things. So if you want to go to tradegenius.co, tell them that Rick sent you. Tradegenius.co. There's other specials that are everything, right? You get crypto binary options trader, everything. You get actually 4 hours of personal coaching in this one. Here, I think you get 1 hour of personal coaching, which is great because they set you up. They don't take any money off the trade. That's what I love about these guys. They just train you on how to do it yourself. Empower you to make good decisions, right? All right, here we are. Let's get into this. Let's get back. This says, why do people trust the fake news media? Anons can play this game all day long. Compare and contrast. Fake, fake, fake. Q. So now this appears to be like Q got faked out. And so it'll be interesting to see what the strategy is here. And this whole disinformation is real and necessary. And now this has got him. He actually did a hit piece based upon this. So I already showed you Max Boot right here being a Council of Foreign Relations, which shows he's completely deep state. He's basically a globalist, and he's controlled by these puppets. He gets 4 a.m. talking points, I'm positive. Right? He probably has a burner phone just like Maggie Haberman every week. But here's his response to this. He says, someone put a fake headline on one of my columns. Trump supporters bought it and blasted me. And here, look at Q. So the whole article's blasting Q. And this is true that this does not make us look good right now. There's no question about it in this war going back and forth. I'm not real worried about it though, because it's got a highlight on fake news, and they're massively fake news, and they lie to us with globalist propaganda. We know that, right? So here is some things to understand, though. He did do something that says Trump can't do anything right. Even his cover-ups are incompetent. But you'll see, if there's one thing that's true, is this guy named Max Boot never says anything good about Trump and attacks him no matter what he does. Okay, so that's the point, right? So, but you see the actual article he wrote back in April was Trump thinks he can replace U.S. foreign forces in Syria with Arab troops. He's wrong. And so if you go click on this is the one April 19th. So somebody put the wrong title on this, and it's really more pro about keeping Syria troops there. Of course, they're globalists. Globalists want war all the time. They want to fund both sides. They always want war. The more bombs they use, the more the globalist people that own those, all the military contractors, etc. They make all the money. And Washington Post, we know, is one of the biggest globalist / deep state mockingbird media organizations there. And we know Max Boot is one of them now. And everybody knows Max Boot. So there's probably a reason for this. And it'll be real interesting to see in the military strategy what Q does. Because it was either a mistake or a purposeful mistake. We will find out soon. But obviously this goes through just massive anti-Q, everybody's lying, when he is the 4 a.m. talking point liar. So it's got everybody focused on this. So that may be a purposeful reason why Q did it. Who knows? But that's 2639. But I want to make sure everybody knows I would not be posting this on social media because it is a false title, right? They took this first part here, Trump can't do anything right. Well, we know that part's true. He put that, and he actually says it. So we know he's an anti-Trump propagandist. That's just no question about that. That's why I came to this article here about the one that was actually the April 19th article that Max Boot did right here, April 19th. That is not the same title that this, whoever put this graphic together is. But if you go back to Max's article, he does admit that he had a title about, I'm going to go back to the previous article, that says Trump can't do anything right, right? Even his cover-ups are incompetent. So they want you to think that Trump is a bombastic idiot. Even though if you go to magapill.com, there's thousands of accomplishments of Trump. Literally go look at it, or go to qproofs.com and you'll see hundreds and hundreds of coincidences that prove that Q is working with Trump. That's one thing we just know. It's a fact, right? So interesting play about what is going on and why he did this. I think it's kind of exciting because it's got people talking about fake news like never before, focused on this CFR-oriented Council of Foreign Relationship fake news 4 a.m. talking point person at the fake news Mockingbird Media Washington Post. That's good discussions, and that's a perfect place I like to start if you're going to red pill somebody, because you shouldn't be starting with things that are controversial between us, as we are in the weeds of this. Start with the basics. You're being lied to by the Mockingbird Media, and this is a great conversation piece, but I won't post this article because it's incorrect, okay? I mean, that graphic. Let's move on to the next one, 2640. Hey, this is cool, by the way, guys. I'm live on Periscope and Facebook and also Twitch. And so if you're on Twitch, see if your texting works. I think it's work. Or if you're on also Periscope, I want to see something come through here. Right now I see a ton of stuff coming from Facebook as well as coming from, and I need to hit this thing to say new messages. There we go. Tons of stuff on YouTube. That's obviously the #1 channel here. But let's look at this. 2640. He puts an article, Clinton status. So this is Hillary Clinton giving a tweet, and it says Hussein, ISIS, JV team. And so this whole thing is summarized pretty easy. Obama and Clinton oversaw the expansion of ISIS. POTUS eliminated ISIS in less than 2 years. Pretty funny if you look at it. And so here is Hillary Clinton's status, and her status basically says actions have consequences. And again, globalists don't want you to pull out of any war because that's where they make all their money, and they control things like in Afghanistan, for instance. They control the poppy seeds and the drug production for the CIA to make money, and obviously in Syria, it's many people think it's part of the whole Zionist, or I don't like that term at all. I talk about the deep state in Israel's operations. A lot of it is, right? But anyway, here's Hillary's take. Actions have consequences, and whether we're in Syria or not, the people who want to harm us are there and at war. No, we just wiped them out, all the people that really were the enemies. Isolationism is weakness. Yeah, you got to be a globalist. Because nationalism, this is just what Macron says right here. Empowering ISIS is dangerous. Like they are the one that empowered. This is complete projection, right? Playing into Russia and Iran's hands is foolish. This Russia. There's a projection continuing, right? The president is putting our national security at grave risk. And that is Hillary. And so Q replies to it and says, Hussein, ISIS JV team. That was a quote. He called them the JV team. Plenty of YouTubes on that if you want to go see it. Did ISIS form on Hussein's watch? Obviously it did. Did Hussein take care of business or allow them to expand? He took the authority away from the generals, and he completely allowed them to expand like mad, even supplying them guns through Libya. That's pretty well documented now and is going to be coming out. How long did it take POTUS to eradicate and destroy ISIS? Within the first year, it was almost done. And then because of all the shenanigans, he's had to stay there an extra year. But you'll never come out of wars if you try to help everybody against a dictator. Because if you look at that part of the world, dictators are everywhere except for Israel, right? That's crazy. Socialist economics fail again, says Tree Climbing. You're exactly right there. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. If you look at this, now you go to this Investors article, is what he talks about next, where it says Obama's military coup purges 197 officers in 5 years. He was eliminated anybody that was a white hat in the military. Anybody that stood out and talked against him. It's just crazy. Like this real Admiral Chuck, what is that guy at? He says, commander of the John C. Stein's Carrier Strike Force was relieved in October 2012 for disobeying, as an ad comes up in my face, for, let's see, and then it moved it to, for disobeying orders when he sent his group on September 11th to assist and provide intelligence for military forces ordered into action by General Ham. Other removals including the sacking of 2 nuclear commanders in a single week. And there was one here that the September 11th, 2012, they're talking about attack in Benghazi. This is what's crazy. What happened to our officer corps since President Obama took office is viewed in many quarters as unprecedented, baffling, and even harmful to our national security posture. We have commented on some of the higher profile cases, such as General Carter Ham. He was relieved as head of U.S. Command after only a year, and because he disagreed with orders not to mount a rescue mission in response to the September 11th, 2012 attack in Benghazi. Have you heard that in the media? No. They needed rescuing. One commander did it, and he got fired, removed from duty. This is what happens when you have deep state criminals in your government. That's what happens. So, anyway, that's a pretty obvious point. And he says, how long? So the American people are waking up to the truth, and we just saw that, right? The truth is Obama was purposely weakening weakening the military. He says, why did Hussein attempt to destroy our military? Weaken it. Well, we know it was the 16-year plan. That's why the next question is, what was the 16-year plan to destroy America? Well, you can go back to that. Just search up here, up at the very top. You can filter on 16-year plan, and you'll see exactly what that is. And there's a lot of people that have talked about that in more detail. It's 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Hillary, and this last part would have been everything that we're seeing with conservatives being taken off of media. That would have been accelerated much faster if Trump was not here. And the FEMA camps would have been that many Walmarts and other areas that we read about all the time, those would have been being prepared for people like you and me that understand the truth. So that was going to be and obviously the worst part about the 16-year plan was just like the Sum of All Fears movie, where they blamed Russia for a rogue bomb, and then we end up having a nuclear war between the two countries that the deep state doesn't like. Russia hates globalists, so does Trump. So that's how one way you get rid of all the people that are gonna, and as they're in their underground bunkers safe, and all the ones they love are safe, we're all getting bombed. Why did Hussein install traitors at the highest level of our government? Comey, Brennan, Clapper, the list goes on. Go look at the little gif that he put out there with all the bars. You know who they are. Think DOJ. We had criminals there for sure, including Loretta Lynch, right? Sally Yates, others. Think FBI. You think McCabe, Comey. Think Strzok, Lisa Page. Think CIA. Yeah, no question. Brennan. Oh my goodness. Total enemy of the United States. Think national security. That's right. They can't have, with globalism, if you want one world government, you can't have a strong United States. You can't have the great melting pot with a huge economy and people loving each other and not divided. So what has the media done effectively? Divide us. That's what they've done. Why did Hussein bring people into the White House who hate America and what we stand for? That's a very easy question. Why did Hussein bring people into the White House who hate America and what we stand for? That is very clearly what he did. What years did HRC serve as Secretary of State? And that was 2008, the first 4 years of that, to 2012. What years did ISIS expand? Right then. Why did Hussein put restrictions on U.S. military command, regarding ability to attack targets at will. White House direct approval request for each action. So literally, you couldn't. The generals would see huge amounts of people escaping or something, and they couldn't even go take them on. He let them escape. He let them grow on purpose. It was very obvious, but the mainstream media, Mockingbird Media's 4 a.m. talking points, didn't let the American people know that. But anybody who went and researched it, they would know, right? Merry Christmas, guys. Yes, I see a lot of that going on the chat. Thank you for that. Then you see here. Action, facts, not fiction. Blind sheep follow. Eyes on target. Q. So this is a pretty clear one, all summarized by this right here. Obama and Clinton oversaw the expansion of ISIS. Literally guns through Libya. Literal not letting the generals do their job. And then POTUS changed that and eliminates them in less than 2 years. Okay? Working with Russia. Woo! Just like Mark Taylor told us, right? Now you go to 2641. It says, here's another tweet here. How can the left refute this? So if you look at this Twitter, it says, hey, Senator Schumer, please address these views not only held by you publicly, but by all past presidents, including Obama. We were sent here to serve our citizens, not our ambitions. That was a quote from Obama. We were sent here to serve our citizens, not our ambitions. Well, that is a complete lie. That's why we talk about him liar in chief, because he's literally, his ambitions is globalism and what his puppets are telling him to do. So we can hear this here. Let's take a quick listen.
Not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Just saying no to everything may be good short-term politics, but it's not leadership. We were sent here to serve our citizens, not our ambitions.
There it goes. We were sent here to serve our citizens, not our ambitions. Build the wall, this person says. So what does Q say about this? He says, how can the left refute this? What happens when you can no longer trust those elected to represent you? Fake, 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 all capital. Truth and facts matter. Annans can play this game all day long. Q. All right, that's 2641. Now we go to 2642. Hypocrites. And here it goes. More fake, fake, fake news, the more you know. Research for yourself. Q. Now here's a YouTube. And unfortunately, it looks like my audio is not working the way I want it here. So
in fact, that's the real amnesty. Pretending we can deport 11 million people or build a wall without spending tens of billions of dollars of taxpayer money is abetting what is really just factually incorrect.
So basically, the whole point of this, because the audio is not working as loud as I want it, is there you go, Obama completely supporting this. Here he is in 2006 completing support border security. Here's Schumer in 2009 supporting it. You guys, I'm sure, have seen some of these. I've been sending them in Twitter and Facebook and everything. In 2006, these outspoken politicians who strongly opposed President Trump's border wall signed the Secure Fence Act of 2006. This bill called for hundreds of miles of fencing to separate and secure our southern border. But now that we're putting a big wall up that's harder, because you can get up on a ladder that's 30 feet tall, but you can't jump down that safely. It's a lot harder, right? And then by that time, it takes a lot more time as well, especially with kids and stuff like that. You're not going to risk that. So the border security combined with a wall is the way everybody knows this has to be taken care of. So people who can't see this just don't understand basic security, and the fact that they are the fake line is just so obvious, and that's what 2642 was all about. I believe that was the last one we had. I'm gonna refresh just in case he decided to post on. Nope, he didn't. So here we are. So we are caught up with the drops, but I have tons of news for you, so don't go anywhere. This is interesting. If you guys saw this, a sea change, 9/11 grand jury impaneled. So the SGT report, who has a ton of followers, by the way. I think he's got 493,000. That's 10 times more than I have. And he has almost 100,000 views on this video, and it's recent. This was on my birthday yesterday, right? So he basically talks about and interviews citizens that are basically have now a grand jury impaneled that are actually can give evidence to show that these were controlled demolitions. Not only building 1 and 2, but also building 7, which is very obviously see if I can see the picture of that on this SG2 report, where this is now that's one of the biggest ones. But this right here was showing the fact that the concrete was melting, which jet fuel is not hot enough, right? And so there was obviously something else. But this is building 7 right here. It's 48 stories. This right here. And the fact, just the very fact
of what happened here, and I advised, after listening to that interview, I advised Larry Silverstein to lawyer up.
You'll see that falls down in 7 seconds. If you dropped a bowling ball at the top of this building and it dropped those 48, it would drop down in about 7 seconds. So they had to take out all 8 columns all at the same time to actually make that fall as a demolition. Not many people think this didn't even get hit by a plane, and it still completely fell. So they were eliminating something they didn't want there. So this 9/11 thing is really interesting. Go see the SGT report if you want to go more detail in looking at a grand jury impaneled of 23 jurors to actually start investigating the fact that it was a controlled demolition of all 3 of the buildings. That'll be really interesting as that moves forward. Look at this. This is kind of exciting. This is what I did on my cover, right? Interesting. The Department of Defense, official Twitter, at Department of Defense, tweeted the same picture with similar message at 1 minute after midnight tonight, 1 minute into the government shutdown, as the one they tweeted last year on Christmas Day. Same pic. Q posted on the 31st of October of last year, and that is this picture that I have on. It's crossing the Delaware, I believe. Isn't that George Washington, Delaware? Is that right? I'm not the best historian, but you can see that is the picture. It says, for many, Christmas Day is a time to take a break and be with family, but many times throughout history, it has played a significant role for our nations. Hashtag service members, go USA Gov. Know your military. Hashtag know your military. Twitter Media Studio. And so just the fact that we have that coming from the Department of Defense is crazy if you think about it. And here is, I'm blowing up on this thing. This is the picture blown up a little bit more. You can see December 24th, 2017. That's when they did it the year before. And now here around 2018, they do it again. Again, this post December 22nd of 2018, 1 minute after midnight. And we know those time markers are important. That is what's cool here. Now, if you keep... there's all kinds of threads. By the way, this is Lady Canuck. If you ever can't find anything, she's just awesome. She's, does just a great job. I like to go on her site, and what I do is I just come to her site here. You see Lady Lady Canuck. And she put a Q versus a K based on the hockey team. She's Canadian, but she does a great job. And if you just go down here and you just scroll down a little bit, and then you just go Control F and go thread, you'll see some of her awesome threads. Like here's one, she has a whole Great Awakening thread showing if, and you just click on this, show this thread, you will be able to go, and I don't have time to do this today. I'm got Christmas Eve service and other things I got to get to. But you see, she starts with one, this thing, then number 2 and 3 and 4, talking about the Great Awakening and diffusion of innovation and all these type of things, and then the world is awakening. So there's a whole thing about the awakening, why she thinks tribunals are going to be coming, etc. It's a very long thread and an awesome thread. And then that was just one of her many awesome threads, right? So I'm just turning you guys onto this Twitter account. And if you go Control F and hit thread again, right, and you can continue to see, okay, that's that one. Now here's another one that's all about show this thread. It's coming time where the plan will become more public. Most of us are hoping it's sooner than later. When the arrests happen, temporary martial law is possible, but will only happen for your protection. If activist groups decide to create an unrest, be vigilant. Mary Q. Mess says. And then again, you can click this thread and you can actually see about the storm coming and another whole thing that she did. I think this is on December 1st. I think this was, but just a whole nother thread that was really well done on December 1st, right? So I'm just asking, and then again, if you go to the next thread, just keep on searching on thread, and you'll see other ones. Here's one by Brian Cates who says, "Boom!" Right, every darn time, and here it is. And Brian talking about stunning developments in the Flynn case, and right after huge movement in Spygate, such as, let's say, John Solomon at the Hill dropping the bombshell about Flynn and the DIA, foreshadowed by the column this week, the fear porn starts right up again, and they do false flags, right, and talk about all kinds of things that happened here. But again, a whole thread on different topics, and Lady Kunuk's a great one. Just go Control F and again thread, and just see all the different threads that she's done or that she's linking to. And sometimes you have to roll down a little bit further if you want to see a little bit older threads, because she posts a lot. But she's fantastic, Lady Canuck. Just telling you to go there if you really know that if I miss news that you haven't hit, that's a great place to go find it. Here's, I talked about the Catholic priest kills himself inside Brooklyn church rectory just days before Christmas. Track all suicides, expect a lot more. Dark to light. This is a sharper edge. Again, a Brooklyn priest kills himself. Tragedy as a Catholic priest who is suffering from health problems kills himself inside a Brooklyn church rectory just days before Christmas. So it's happening, guys. I really believe there's things being revealed, and people that are let me get this close. I don't have a stupid article over my thing here. That is frustrating, and it doesn't even show you how to close it. Let's see what it does. It's going to take me... No, it's not going to go away. Well, we're going to skip that article. That was a pretty cool article, too. This is the Federal Reserve. Okay, things everybody should know about the Federal Reserve. I just want to go this real quick. There's 10 things, right? 1, the Federal Reserve System is a privately owned banking cartel. It's not a reserve. It's not a system. It is a privately owned by the banking cartel. There's no question about that, right? Number 2, the Federal Reserve System is a perpetual debt machine. They want us in debt. That's part of how they get control over us. That's why they want us to run a deficit. They want to print more money. 3, the Federal Reserve has destroyed more than 96% of the value of the U.S. dollar. So that's how inflation goes to their pocket. They like inflation. 4, the Federal Reserve, or they like the deflation of their dollar, right? The devaluation of their dollar. Here it says, the real Federal Reserve can't bail out whoever it wants to with no accountability. Right, and so that's exactly what happened with the banking crisis. They bailed all their banks. Citigroup, $2.5 trillion. Morgan Stanley, $2 trillion. Merrill Lynch, $1.9 trillion. Bank of America, $1.3 trillion. Those are all multi-trillion things. Barclays, almost $1 trillion, right? $868 billion. Bear Stearns, and you can see this goes on and on. There's J.P. Morgan, of course, and the Deutsche Bank, and you've got UBS. So these are all massive. And who's all that? That was taxpayer funding. It was debt that we basically gave them to prop up their money-making machine. Number 5, the Federal Reserve is paying banks not to lend money. So it is true, right? So you have to dig into this and get more details. Number 6, the Federal Reserve creates artificial economic bubbles that are extremely damaging. They caused, there's no question, the Great Depression. They caused the 2008 crisis that crashed my business and I lost everything. That's what they do best. And the more I dig into it, and they do it with the amount of currency available. And they print a lot of currency. It creates an artificial economic upswing, and they restrict the cash, and it causes a recession. And they also raise interest rates as well to compound the effect when they want a recession. And they want a recession right now before 2020. That's why they've raised it 6 times in 1 year. Is that right? Or 6 times since Trump has been elected, I believe. The Federal Reserve System is dominated by the big Wall Street banks. Number 9, the current Federal Reserve Chairman, Benny Bernanke, has a nightmarish track record of incompetence. I think this is a little bit older article. I think that's somebody else right now. The Federal Reserve has become way too powerful. No question about it. That's why it's going to be restructured, Q tells us about. So if you go and research restructuring of the 16-year plan, all you do is go up here and you can do an optional date range or just enter search, and you will get filtered down exactly what you want to see in the QAnon post. As an example, if you just type in Fed, you will get, instead of the 1,600 drops, you'll get a lot less. Like this goes all the way back to December 6th and November 12th. Post number 142 and 25,860. And then I like to go Control F and hit Fed again, and then boom, it shows me exactly where the word Fed is that it found. And there's 37 matches, so I could go through here. I like to go backwards actually to go to the very first one. If I go back far enough, there it is. The very first time they talked about the Fed was post 138 on November 11th. And we can see right here, United States, Federal Reserve, Bank of New York, the Fed, and the IRS. So the IRS is used basically to pay the Fed off. And that we didn't even have income tax in the past before the Federal Reserve came in. In fact, U.S. Federal Reserve is a privately owned company sitting on its very own patch of land, immune to U.S. laws, right? So Q tells us a ton about the Fed that we should always understand and look at, because that is why he's going to restructure it. And that is the fun part. If you came back up here and you actually get to the top again and go back here, clean this out, and then actually type in restructure as an example, you'll see, and then hit Control F and say restructure again. That's what I like to do. I like to teach you guys how to do your own research, not just feed it to you, right? Our structure, if I spell it right, there it is. And so we can see Federal Reserve ending, and here's Q says structure Q. Thank goodness they put it in their title. This is what our Anons added, Federal Reserve to be restructured marker. Right, and again, you can see that I have 2 matches here of restructure. So I'm not sure why it's showing these other ones. Probably because I had Fed from before and I didn't reset it. But you can reset this right here, and boom, all of them will show up. All 2,642 drops. So great research tool here at qmap.pub. qmap.pub. Make it your friend if you really want to know what's going on. So that was the 10 things. I don't know why Google Ads is coming up for me here. I think that's because it was the ad that brought me to. That's what happened. Here's a discussion of just the 22nd, 23rd. If you refresh, you might get some new comments at vote.co, V-O-A-T, like spelled like goat with a V as in Victor. So vote.co. I really suggest you guys get here, because this is where there's a lot of shills here, so you have to kind of go through it. But they put like the December 22nd and 23rd post here, and then there's some discussion, and this is an interesting one. And Anon says, of course, they stated they would secure the border. They were flying the terrorists in. So they didn't really have to go through the border as much. They didn't need to take the southern border like criminals. When Trump put a damper on flying them in first class, they had to come in through the border. The southern border is their only crossing now. Of course they want to keep it open, because that's the big change between 2006 and 2018. It's beginning to feel a lot like, and it's a Christmas with a Q there. Q is basically just becoming this. So you can see this guy needs to be downvoted. I downvoted him, so there's shills in here. And so fun stuff. And that would be just going through each one of these. Now look at this. This is an interesting video. It says, what did Laura see? Theory and Prediction from George W.H. Bush Funeral. It's a 6-minute video. I don't have time to go over it, but it's really interesting to see how President Bush Jr. here came in, and he felt he was very emotional during the funeral. Not that anybody wouldn't be, but also was wobbly when he came in, and you can see he's almost embarrassed when this whole thing happened here. And it looks like he's the one who wrote something down. So that's what's really interesting about this. I'm going to kind of flip through this. So right here it says, George W. Bush, right, nudges Laura with his right arm. Laura looks up at him. Then she looks down and receives something from him. And they showed him writing something down. So here's what happened. He actually sees, you'll see the two security guys here, and you'll see him bump Laura. You see Laura looks over, and he shows him what he wrote down. This is the very end. 5 minutes later, this funeral's over. This is the very, very end, right? And so, but she wanted to show him something before she got to the car. Why? And that's the big question. And again, this is what did Laura see? The name of it, Theory and Prediction from G.H.W. Bush Funeral, if you want to go research this yourself. But it also shows earlier here where he's actually writing something down. See if I can find that. You probably saw how all these people got their envelopes, etc., right? But then you see George Bush writing something down, Jr., and then you see, obviously, he even after he was told about 9/11, he waited and was patient. But he couldn't wait to tell Laura this. Why? Because he probably wasn't going back to the car with her. Was he going to Gitmo? I think he was going to Gitmo. This says there that he was. So when he came in, he was looking wobbly. He was emotional and crying when his daughter was up there. Here he is writing down. You see, there he is at the funeral, writing something down. And then he later showed to Laura Bush, right? And then Laura's shock and dismay, anger, Jeb, shock, dismay, unbelief. Laura is smarter than Jeb. She takes it in more quickly. But the whole point, this theory is different than what I came up with. Did you notice that W had 2 Secret Service men behind him? Trump and the other presidents didn't. The guards were 2 rows back and unobtrusive. So I think he was taken to Gitmo or taken to some security. Maybe he's working with everybody, because he gave that message to them at the very end of it. This says the prediction was the next funeral is W's, Junior's. I don't agree with that. I think that my prediction of why he wrote something down and only showed it to Laura at the very end, it's because he wasn't going back to the car with her. I agree with that part. We're in unison there. And the secret security people were taking him somewhere else. I believe Gitmo or some other place where he's going to be participating in helping take the deep state down. That's what I believe. You let me know what you think down in the comments below. Interesting stuff, huh? That all this is going on. It's like, woo! We're not going to be bored here at any time soon. That is for sure. So we are live on all 4 platforms now. We also, after the fact, usually half day to a day later, I will get this off to to the podcasts, which is Stitcher and YouTube and Google Play, etc. It's like 6 or 7 of them I'm on there. So if you want a lower bandwidth way to listen to the Blessed Teach Show, you can do that as well. Just you'll be a little bit behind versus live here if you want to come on. Here's a anon saying, basically in Germany. This just shows you the international part of Q. Merry Christmas to all anons. We Germans celebrate tonight under the Christmas tree with our families. Peace and love and Q for all of you. And you'll see there's a little Vimeo video here, and it actually plays this cool little song with, obviously in German. So this is really cool. If you want to go take some Silent Night in German, here it is connected. You'll see the link in my show notes. My whole site got hacked. I think you guys know that. Somebody attacked it really bad. I lost all my show notes from October 2nd all the way to the current. I'm going to have it all back up and running. Spending a lot of money on this, obviously. I had to spend $699 actually to just upgrade all the security, get my package through the end of 2020 to the middle of 2020. And so I appreciate the super chats. And also just get the proper security to really make sure this doesn't happen again. But anyway, the good news is you guys have helped me with allowing me to have sponsors, and now I have money to invest to do what I need to do here. So Doug E is asking, will the restructuring of the Fed be painful for everybody, Americans? Will our savings be wiped out? What about our debts? I don't think so. I think they're smart. In fact, I saw one bill about making gold backing up our dollar again, and it would go into effect over a 3-year period. So I think they're going to do it in a smart way. I think they're going to restructure the Fed. Now, will the markets once they restructure it, I think it's going to have the opposite effect, because you have the Fed right now purposely trying to crash the economy, right? So even like Bob talked to, the expert on the Federal Reserve I had live, right? He was talking about how it's crazy that they've put they've inverted the bond rate versus the interest rate they're charging. They never do that at the Fed unless they want to crater you, like they did with George Sr. When they wanted to get Obama in there. I mean Clinton in there, right? And then they're doing it with Trump right now, right? So interesting what's going on with the Fed. So anyway, this is an international movement. We see what's happening in Germany. Here's Hungarian foreign minister. We are up with politically correct, hypocritical European Union. Listen to Hungarian minister. What a warrior, a Trump supporter. And so this is just awesome to see. And you can see a video here of a Hungarian foreign minister. We are fed up with politically correct, hypocritical European Union. So not only does it happen in Germany, it's happening in Hungary. And here's an interview with the Bulgarian Trump. We have to unite and save our countries from the madness of current EU leaders. So I tell you what, this is much more global than I ever thought it was going to be when I first started this. MSM is not free speech. It's a massive propaganda operation run by foreign power, undermining national security and the rule of law. Yes, we know that. That's for sure. And Q drop 1515, right, is a perfect example of that. A long list of media who colluded with DNC and HRC. And there's a whole network of people that we see here. And those reporters and networks that have been named in the WikiLeaks. And here's all these people from ABC and AP and Bloomberg and BuzzFeed and CBS and CNN and Daily Beast and Huffington Post and the MSNBC, and we see more NBC and NPR and New York Times and Politico, as well as Reuters, and here we have other Vox, WAPO, obviously Wall Street Journal. It goes on and on and on. They control all of it. That's all there is to it. Crazy stuff going on. Here we got lying hacks. MSNBC gets caught using a 2011 Border Patrol video to trash Donald Trump. And it was actually Obama again. Just like they did that girl on Time magazine, right? And all the kids in cages, right? That kids in cages thing was during Obama time. And here's these border security kicking the water over that the coyotes were using to bring over people. And they tried to criticize Trump with it. And again, it was at Obama. It happened during the Obama years. Here's game changer. French police to join Yellow Vest after finding out government is ripping them off too. So we'll see if that picks up the old Yellow Vest as it moves worldwide. If you want to buy gold, buy real gold, not gold stocks. Some people are saying. I'm digging into that. I got a bunch of EFTs in my 401k too. The only thing I was able to save when I lost everything. Right, Heather. UNRWA detail, but I buy gold. I have gold as well, physical gold, that I think is important as part of your investment strategy and diversification. Heather UNRWA details son's sexual abuse allegations against Kevin Spacey. By the way, and I'm hoping in January I'm going to have Noble Gold help me do a deal for you guys to get that easily and real gold safely, right? Thanks for your explanations, Blessed Teacher. Glad you are back on your B2T show. Thanks, Jorge. No problem. Here's Heather. UNRWA details son's sexual abuse allegations against Kevin Spacey. Interesting stuff there. Here's a WikiLeaks poll. It says 74% of Americans now believe in the concept of the deep state. That's huge. The Great Awakening is happening, right? And this is bipartisan. The concern is bipartisan. Says that an unelected manipulative security complex having undue influence over national policy. 53% of Americans are worried about it spying on them. The conception is so there's a link to that. But that, guys, this is good news. This is why I say start with the Mockingbird media. It's easily provable. Once people actually think about it, could be conspiracy, and think about, are they hearing the same thing, and they start flipping the channel from their favorite ABC or NBC, and they flip to 4 or 5, and they start hearing the same thing, or they look at their app on their phone and it's saying, everybody's saying the same thing. 4 a.m. talking points. That's where you want to start to red pill people, I believe. Again, one of the many ways, but that's my favorite way. Doctors and cops among 277 arrested in human trafficking, online prostitution sting in Florida. Now, this was back in October, but just shows you what's happened here the last year. And then, look at this guy. This guy, a St. Louis archbishop, says he simply didn't know that it was illegal to sleep with children. St. Louis archbishop, I didn't know sex with children was a crime. It's literally. It's like, now you might not be able to hear this well, but
you knew it was a crime for an adult to engage in sex with a kid.
I'm not sure whether I knew it was a crime or not. I understand today it's a crime.
When did you first decide?
I understand today it's a crime, but I'm not sure I really understood it was a crime. Sick people out there is what we have. Every time a major pedophile ring is busted, you find elites connected to it. Billionaire, judges, lawyers, politicians, physicians, celebrities, and so on. Yet the MSM denies pedogate. Why? Because they're part of the problem. So he's one of my favorite guys. He is InfoWars, but he's got some of the best videos out there. Paul Joseph Watson. Then Jesus went into the temple courts and drove out all who were burying and selling there. He overturned the tables and the money changers. So when we're talking about the Federal Reserve, that this guy basically says all this Federal Reserve talk during Christmas reminded me of one of Jesus' most controversial acts in Matthew 21 and 2:12, where then Jesus went into the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those selling doves. And he declared to them, quote, "It is written, my house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers," unquote. The cross-reference for Matthew 21:12 in the Old Testament is very interesting and provides context. Way back in the Old Testament, Exodus 30:13, you hear, quote, "Everyone who crosses over to those counted must pay a half shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. This half shekel is an offering to the Lord." But the den of robbers is a really key phrase, and it gets pretty deep if you go study this. But the whole point is, obviously, Jesus was angry. Since he never sinned, it was justifiable anger. And tell you what, hey, thank you, Angela Atterbury. I really do appreciate it. God bless you and your family. Merry Christmas. Appreciate the super chat. But you see, it's just awesome to see that a lot of this movement is people who actually love the Lord, and this is an awesome time of year to be both a Q follower, I believe, as well as a Christian who loved, and a patriot. What an amazing thing. I haven't fact checked this, but dual citizenship, dual loyalty. So all these people are dual citizens. I didn't know that. If you look at the red, it's marking through all these people. So interesting about dual citizenship. My heart is weeping this day for our president. This is way too negative in my opinion, but it's something good to go see as far as the attack he's under. It's asking for prayer. 2 Samuel 10:12. Be strong and let us show ourselves courageous for the sake of our people and for our cities of our God. And may the Lord do what is good in his sight. And I believe what he's doing right now is an amazing thing in interacting on this country to heal it. And it's going to be used to heal other, what I would say, call sheep nations as we go forward. It's going to be an exciting time. Here's a real recent article from yesterday. Puppet String News, never heard of it, but it says, boom, all George Soros connections discovered. Here's the very long list. And you click on this, it actually gives you a list of all these massive amount of connections to George Soros. And it's like big time list of of how his job is to separate the Americans and divide us. The very thing that says Q want us to, that's why we want to wake people up with the fake news media. Organizations that depict America as a nation whose enduring racism must be counterbalanced by racial and ethical preferences in favor of non-whites. All these organizations that he funds. Organizations that specifically portray the American criminal justice system as racist and inequitable. Organizations that call for massive social change and for the recruitment and training of activist leaders to help foment the change. And so he's got thousands of organizations that are all designed to divide us. Organizations that disparage capitalism while promoting a dramatic expansion of social welfare programs funded by an ever-escalating taxes. That's what globalists want. Right? Organizations that support social medicine in the United States. Organizations that strive to move American politics to the left by promoting the election of progressive political candidates. Ton of that. Organizations that promote leftist ideals and worldviews in the media and the arts. You can see, look at all those. Tons of them. Organizations that seek to inject the American judicial system with leftist values. And I would say socialist values. I don't like the term leftist here. Organizations that advance the socialist or progressive agendas by infiltrating churches and religious congregations, think tanks that promote the globalist policies, right? Organizations that promote open borders, mass immigration, and watering down of the current immigration laws, increased rights and benefits of illegal aliens, and ultimately amnesty. Look at all these. The American Immigration Council, Casa de Maryland, Know Your Rights, Immigration Legal Resource Center Belongs, Migration Policy Institute. The George Soros it's so decentralized it's hard to pin it down. But as you really start doing research, it becomes very obvious that he is the enemy of the people. He's designed to overthrow, just like he does other countries, with currency manipulation as well as the Saul Alinsky tactics. But Trump is the disruptor, pivots back to Trumpism, and the establishment freaks out, right? So Trump, the disruptor, pivots back to Trumpism, and the establishment freaks out. This is funny. The Americans who voted for Donald Trump wanted a disruptor, and that's what Santa brought them this Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. After 2 years of denying his inner Donald, and I don't agree with that, but under the fire from all sides, Trump finally went full Trump. That is, he actually did what he promised, and the establishment lost its collective shift. He really thought it was it. I mean, he really thought this was it for Trump. They thought they finally had him. The GOP just lost the House. The Fed raised interest rates, and the market slumped for total economic reasons and not to hurt Trump's chances. And if you say different, you are a crazy traitor, Russia. Whatever, right? Ann Coulter was dissing him and the wall so hard that he unfollowed her on Twitter. The Mueller Festival of Elite Onanisms peaked with the Flynn fiasco. But when all hell breaks loose, Trump thrives, and he thrives through disruption. He stopped trying to behave. Yeah, the last 2 years has him behaving in an attempt to work with the establishment. I disagree with that. And started doing what he said he would do. He went back to disrupting the elite consensus, and that has freaked out the squares. So there's a whole story about this and everything. But again, he's been disrupting from the beginning. And so there's a whole article on this, and I think it's kind of fun to go see that we have a disruptor, and he's actually doing some cool things that are amazing, right? And this is the site I always want you to make sure you have on your, go ahead and bookmark it, right? It's called magapill.com, M-A-G-A, magapill.com. But if you want magapill.com, you will see accomplishments in all these different areas: government, economy, Department of Defense, Justice Department, Homeland Security, trade deals, Veterans Administration, State Department, and it goes on and on and on. They're all backed up by articles. Middle class income rises to highest on record. That's a pretty big deal. There's an article backing it up on 9/30/2018. Right, talking about middle class income rises to the highest on record. Every one of these is backed up by articles. Jobless claims lowest level since 1969. Another article back from 8/30. So you see, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Pages and pages and pages of Trump accomplishments on magapill.com. Make sure you get that. And that's why I'm proud to have one of our sponsors being the Trump coin, right? So this is, I think, this might be the last or second to last time I get to talk to them about this month, and that these guys just have done a beautiful job of creating a commemorative coin that's limited edition. That is $1,895 for a gold one, but look at this, the silver one's only $35. It's a 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and it's got on the back of it, delivering as promised, 0.999 fine silver, so it can be used in your 401k and your IRA. So if you want to have an investment before you go into the new year, you can do this in our IRA or your FISA or your 401k if you have room in it. This would be a great thing, and plus just to have this before the arrest is going to be, I think, an amazing time to be able to show people. But anyway, if you buy more than 3, you get free shipping by putting blessed in the cart. So make sure you put that in the coupon code right here, coupon code. If you do more than 3 or more, right, update your cart here, make sure you put blessed here, and it'll blessed in the coupon code, and you'll get your shipping for free. Here's Khashoggi. A lot of stuff coming about Khashoggi, saying Khashoggi was no journalist. He was a Qatari asset with a WAPO byline. So interesting full article here. Qatar asset in life, Qatari asset in death. Interesting reading. I don't have time to go over that, but doom and gloom. I refuse to be affected by all the doom and gloom shills out there. No matter what happens, I am protected by the Savior who died for me. Our church will support each other in any way we can, no matter what happens. That is the meaning of the body of Christ. I would amplify that and say that, but the army of God is actually going to take this country back and this world back in different parts of these countries that allow freedom of religion. Paul Rand says, government is so dumb, it is literally borrowing money from China to give it back to China while paying interest on it. That is a really good point, Paul Rand. That's where he is in his Twitter. Judicial Watch, this is back in June, files House ethics complaint against Maxine Waters for indicting violence and assault on Trump cabinet. I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize that they were doing that. They're a great organization. They are doing some awesome things. That is for sure. Let's see. We've got per QAnon drop 2639. This has been scrubbed from the internet. And so Q posts being called fake. Max Boot, Washington Post, Trump can't do anything right. We don't need troops in Syria. Be careful here. I think that at least nobody's been able to find it. So I'm not sure if it's been scrubbed from the internet. And the April 19th article looks pro-Syria. So we got to be a little careful there. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on, and I'm blessed to teach, as well as Facebook, as well as make sure that you go to blessedtoteach.com. It's going to be all up on the 27th with the new show notes coming. Again, blessed with the number 2 teach.com is where you'll see that. And obviously, if you guys want to make sure that you are preparing for anything that's going on, preparewithrick.com. It's my Patriot Supply place. So again, preparewithrick.com is where you can buy supply food for a huge discount. Right? It's pretty important to prepare before the crisis happens, not after. Having 30 days of food per person in your family is pretty important to have. And again, preparewithrick.com is what you want to do there. Now, let's get into this prophecy, and we'll wrap her up here. So we got a prophecy, and that is actually, let me see here. We have got, all right, here, it's Kim Clement. So I got a Kim Clement prophecy for you here today, way back in 2011. From Nashville, Tennessee. You can see he's got like 3 paragraphs here. What does he say about the restoration of America? He says, I see a president that shall come. And this is not to speak bad about this one. There is a president who will come. And God says he will have absolutely no fear. And this is in 2011. So we know that Obama was the president here, and now he's saying the next one he will have absolutely no fear. Is that not the way Trump is? Absolutely no fear. He will be decisive. He will make decisions. And then, in the middle of the restoration of America, rapidly because of a source of energy that shall come quickly, and because of medical breakthroughs, and because of agreements between nations, specifically China. God said, they shall say, we never dreamed this would happen. They said that this is Japan. In Japan would never happen. God says, listen to me. As the beginning of the restoration, as it begins, there shall be a woman that shall rise up, a woman that shall be strong in faith, virtuous, beautiful in eyes. Her eyes shall be so beautiful. Her eyes shall be round and big. I have crowned her, says the Lord. I have crowned Esther, and the people shall receive her. She shall have the oil of gladness for the plan and the mourning that has taken place, and she shall pour out the oil. Is there, and he's asking for oil, and it says, she shall pour out the oil on this nation. And God says, healing shall begin, and then it shall flow rapidly. Schools will be free from potential damage and danger. Shooting and murder, drug addiction, cartels shall be afraid of a woman anointed by God, a woman set aside. And God says, they will say, we hated her, but now we love her. For she shall take the oil of healing, and she shall pour it upon the scars of those left and those right, and of the new party that has come forth and emerged, where they shall say, Christ will reign. And we shall not implement socialism at all, where they have said, we will make history without God. No, you will not. No, you will not, says the Lord. For I chose the nation before it was founded. Before anybody came here, I chose this entire nation, all 50 states, every one of them, to send my gospel to the entire earth. Do you think I have changed my mind? Therefore, the healing that is necessary for this nation shall come at a time in the middle of the presidency. There shall be a woman that shall come. And God said, there shall be oil that shall be poured upon the nation, and they shall suddenly feel the healing, and they shall say, it is well with my soul. It is well with our soul. For the soul of America has been corrupted. The soul of this nation has been corrupted with bitterness and anger. And God said, she shall say, no more bitterness, no more anger, no more division, and she shall pour the oil that shall come from the Spirit of the Lord himself. If you as a nation believe, if you as a nation want this, lift your voice and shout one more time and say yes. Yes to Esther. Yes to Esther. Yes to Esther. That is Kim Clement on 3/25, March 25th, 2011, out of Nashville, Tennessee, when he delivered that prophecy. And some of that's just amazing. But who's this woman? It looks like it might be the third or fourth year, right? So the bad part about that is, as I look at that, if I'm thinking 8 years of the presidency of Trump, then the middle of it wouldn't come for a few more years, right? So I'm hoping it happens before that. We'll see. But this could be a long war that we're in against all these people. So we got to be careful here, all right? All right, so I'm a little late getting off to church, so I need to wrap this up real quick, guys. I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for this audience. I'm going to pray for everybody that's listening to my voice right now, that you will just bless them, Lord, and give them your spirit. You'll heal them of any ailments they have, but most importantly, Lord, you'll bring their hearts close to you, and you'll let them know about how you're going to be restoring this nation and these different parts of the world, and how they can be involved in it, Lord. Pour your spirit on them and let them know how they will be involved. Orchestrate everything, Lord, that will allow the white hats and those that are patriots, those who love their country, whoever love their constitutions across the world, can come together and know what and how they would join you in this movement, Lord. Also, please protect the president, protect the kids that are also in human trafficking, Lord. We just pray you just allow them to be rescued, allow them to be reunited with their families. Please heal them, Lord, and use them in a mighty way for your kingdom going forward. Lord, we ask that you'll just confuse the enemy plans to the point that they can't function with anything they are planning, and that an amazing harvest is going to happen as more and more people hear the good news and start living the abundant life. How exciting is that? We say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, thank you so much. So I'll show you what this new, just real quickly show you what this is my new, chat. And it's got all the chats from everybody's on YouTube right now, but there's quite a few Facebook. Like there's a Facebook Cheryl Wallace. Yes, Lord, yes, from Facebook. And so you'll see that some of these, I don't think I have many Twitch or Periscope followers yet. Twitch I just joined the other day. But it's kind of cool that I've got a combined chat with you guys. So somebody's saying, blessed to teach, but woe to the man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had not been born, says Lou. Yep, and then it says, amen. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and God blesses to you, says Nona. I appreciate that. So if I hit new messages here, it refreshes. You can see everybody's here. There's some Facebook ones flying by there. Doug Borg, etc. So this is a new tool that's just really cool. I still have my YouTube one because that's the majority of people, but just fun to be going live simultaneously on 4 different platforms, and then also we'll take this out to all the podcast platforms as well. Looks like in the Matrix there. If that's a real guy, thank you. General Flynn messaged me. It's his birthday today. Is it really his birthday? Thank you, in the Matrix. In the Matrix, let me know. I know you've been on the air quite a bit with Mr. War Drummer, who I love, Sean, and would love to have you on here at some point in time as well. I need to figure out my audio better on Zoom, or maybe Skype work better, where I can get it working on my software here. But God bless you guys. Hey, thank you so much for joining here, and we will Merry Christmas. I mean, oh my goodness, just enjoy this time of year. Those of you who don't have family around, I prayed for you on my last video, and I'm going to pray right. I just want to just pray that everybody just has a wonderful Christmas time in the Spirit. Remember, God loves you no matter if you don't have family around. And those of you who have family around, cherish this time, praying that it will be a blessed time for you. God bless and Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next time. This is the Blessed to Teach show. We are. I'm going to show last thing I always want to summarize with showing Merry Christmas. What you want for Christmas. So I know what I want. I want the D class is what I want. What do you want for Christmas? That's part of this great awakening, right? I just pray many people start waking up here, many people, and that we will actually get the great gift of the D class, right? And more people will understand what the Spygate's all about at a minimum. All right, guys. Love y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. This is Rick, your host of the Blessed Teach Show. Talk to you guys soon.